Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. And today we got another special guest with us. We got Steven from A2D Radio. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, Big Steven?
Thanks for having me on this afternoon, this evening, my brother. Appreciate the time. You know, let's have some fun and talk some football, some Eagles, and see what's going on in the crazy world of Philadelphia sports.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's go ahead and give everybody a background, what you do, where you're from, and how long you been an Eagles fan, my guy.
All right, man. Well, basically, I've been in sports media for the better part of 8 years. Started out just covering combat sports. Started my own podcast. Ended at roughly around 2017, 2018. Met up with A2D Radio. Started as just a basic on-air personality. I'm now one of the hosts of one of our Saturday night programs called the Weekly Roundup, and also one of the producers on one of our Friday night programs called Spit and Fire with Rachel Blaze. And I also do athlete spotlights throughout the week on A2D Radio. And Eagles fan, basically, back in the day, man, when I was waist high up on my mama and things like that, man, just right. Early football was just, to me, was Randall Cunningham, was Buddy Ball, was watching football in my grandma's living room, listen to her curse more than the freaking truckers that you hear in the bars. So, I mean, my mom worked a lot, so I spent a lot of time, with my grandmother, and she kind of where a lot of my early sports came from. Since then, been to Eagles games, been to playoff games, been able to see us clinch divisions in other team stadiums. Been able to enjoy a lot of fun memories with Philadelphia sports over the last 25 years or so. So I don't know about you, man, but there's been highs, there's been lows. We've all we've lucky been enough to experience Super Bowl, World Series. Some of us old enough to see that Stanley Cup as well. It's fun, man. It's interesting to see what's going to happen in the future with some of our sports teams. I guess that's the real question. What's next?
Right. What is next? And what's next is, how do you feel about after the Super Bowl, the way the whole Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman, even throwing Zach Ertz there? How do you feel the way everything all unfold? Do you think Carson is treated fairly? Do you think he's being a baby, or like most people, or you think it's a mix of a little bit of both of those?
Well, I mean, we're all adults. We can look at it in hindsight now, but I mean, all parties are at fault here, and anyone who sits there and wants to put one blame on one side, the other, this camp or that camp, is absolutely foolish. There's multiple sides to this coin. There's not two sides. There's multiple sides to this coin. And there's just so many layers to this. I mean, a lot of things happened. You see a lot of things going on. People are wanting to call Carson a bust at this point in time is absolutely asinine. You guys are out of your mind that they aren't in the playoffs with a 13-3 record without what Carson Wentz did. Mm-hmm. Granted, Nick Foles had the greatest I think 7, 8, 9 quarters of his career toward the end of that season. Cannot deny that whatsoever. He will go down as the greatest backup quarterback in NFL history because of that performance, and no one will be able to take that away from Nick, and no one should be able to take it away from Carson either. Now, none of us, not a single one of us, could have foreseen what would play out over the next few seasons. When Frank Reich left, probably was the beginning of the end for what was the relationship between Carson Wentz, the Philadelphia Eagles franchise, the front office, Howie Roseman, however you want to spin it, play it, speak about it. The next few seasons are rough, man. He came back too fast from that injury because the Eagles would not let Nicky Six go, and you can't blame him for that. You need to have some insurance, but with how everything played out, you should have just let him go without getting, because you thought you were going to get some compensation for him. No, you weren't going to sign and trade him. No, like he wasn't going to be that high of a commodity. No one was going to let you get a king. Like Howie was trying to be too smart for his own good, and it literally blew up in his face. If you ask me,
Oh yeah.
it caused an environment to just say, "Hey, you want to start playing that whole quarterback factory thing," and you bred a lot of contentment with how he ran things in the front office. And anyone to sit there and says that he is not doesn't have enemies in that locker room, despite the fact that they may respect him because he is the Eagles general manager, is fooling themselves.
Oh yeah.
Is absolutely fooling themselves. In my opinion, you could tell me I'm wrong. You could agree with me. Whatever. It's just how I feel about it when I look at it. With adult eyes. I mean, like you have to sometimes step back away from it, out of the fan shoes. Even as a journalist, a media member, you also have to sometimes step back and like, what's going on here? Why is this this way? And everyone plays a blame, man. Carson plays a blame. I think holding too much onto Frank, but he knew what was good for him, and to the point where he orchestrated his trade to Indianapolis, to where he is. Where by the way, they were not too far away from a Super Bowl berth this past season with a guy who was on borrowed legs, not even his last leg.
Right.
He was on borrowed legs, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very, very good football team. Carson Wentz willed himself into a very, very good situation, and it'll be interesting to see if he can shake the ghost of the last few seasons and get back to 2017 form. He looked good in some of the time in the past few years trying to push through some of the stuff, but it was clear at last season the media had run him dry. The media in Philadelphia for NFL football is absolutely toxic. Anyone who wants to sit there and say that the Philadelphia sports media, when we're talking about football, is anything but pleasantry, the media plays a part in the running him out of town. They played a part in the running a lot of players out of town over the years. People say it's the fans. I think the media plays a bigger part in that than the fans ever will.
Oh yeah.
Because listen, we boo you, we criticize you when it's absolutely warranted. We may go overboard with it sometimes, but one thing's we'll always show you love, and sometimes you have to ask yourself, so why do we even go to the point of we endearing ourselves to guys that don't deserve to endear for? Like you go back and look, Steven, the love that Travis Fulgham got after 3 games was crazy. Yeah. But it's how the rabidness of this fan base and how we support the little guy more than the guy that deserves that shot, because we like that grittiness. We like that guy that goes on that grind and puts that work in. So yeah, Travis Fulgham was a good story, but I don't think he should have been given a lot of the praise that some of this fan base gave him. He deserved it from those few games, but after that point, yeah. But it's one of these things that we do. But getting back to that, you go and look at the other side of that, and you go and look at what Howie Roseman did, and you go sign Carson at that contract, and then you go and do what you do with Nick Foles, and then the following season, not like after you remove the guy that he felt he connected with as a coach, you go and bring in Jalen Hurts, and that was that. We were live on A2D for that one. I don't know a whole lot of people that were happy when anyone that did a live reaction to the Jalen pick draft. I can guarantee you there were maybe a handful of YouTube content guys of guys of that ilk who were doing live streams who were up in arms, cheering, smiling, and happy for that pick. You were thinking exactly what I was thinking. What are they doing? What are they doing? And exactly what the fans thought and feared. So not only do you invest your money into, but you ask your fan base because you know how your fan base is to invest in the Carson Wentz, and then you go and bring Jalen Hurts and knowing exactly what you want to play. Oh, we're trying to build a quarterback factory. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're trying to preemptively get ready to throw the Band-Aid on the situation because you're getting ready to run this guy out there because you don't like that he has a voice and he's not going along with your agenda.
Well, some people think that it was just two because he kept getting hurt, and we got tired of paying so much money.
Oh,
to a
but why was he
backup
getting hurt?
quarterback.
Was our offensive line 100% healthy over those last few years?
No.
No, it was probably our biggest injury spot over the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So when anyone wants to sit there and say, "Oh, well, the guy's running for his life a lot of times," and without an offensive line, how great can a quarterback be?
Yeah.
We've seen it so many times. What has Matthew Stafford been able to do in Detroit over those years?
Mm-hmm.
He's ran for his life and thrown for almost 4,000 yards and barely has even gotten himself into the playoffs.
Yeah. But you know
so, like, you can only do so much. You can only do so much, and I think that's one of the big things that when we look forward into this training camp that you have to be looking forward to is the fact that you have Lane Johnson there. You got BB on that side. You have Travis Kelce. You just signed an absolute monster guy in Dickerson who could play center or guard. Mm-hmm. And, oh, by the way, you have a huge competition because Hayapuli, not Hayapuli, you have 2 guys, and then you have Dillard, who are competing at left tackle. So you have a good situation on top of you already have Nate Herberg, that you have guys that had to get pushed into the situation last year that developed last year. So you have to look good into that offensive line. That's the only thing you have to pray that you set up a good situation for Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts is one of these guys, I said it when he was drafted, I think he could be Tyrod Taylor or better. And the biggest thing about Tyrod Taylor was injuries. Most of his career, he's very flashy, exciting guy. Was that's in that same ilk. What Jalen does? Jalen has a lot of talent like that. Oh, yeah. I think he can be better with that in the situation. Now you go and get the receiver with the number 1 pick this year. Mm-hmm. You get something to complement Jalen Reagor. You still have to figure out what you're going to want to do with Zach Ertz. I would love the fact that the rumors that I'm hearing with the fact that we could possibly trade him to Miami, get Xavier to go on the other side with Darius Slay. And by the way, why is this fan base was running him down last season like it was all his fault the defense was bad? This defense was historically bad last season. Yes, and when you go and look at it, I lost count of how many times they were third in a mile and would give up huge gains. That was probably the biggest thing about last season. It was disheartening to a lot of guys on that team, on both sides of the ball and special teams. There was no one free from blame last season, and that's why it got blown up the way it did. And to sit there and say that the coaching staff, the front office doesn't also play a part in that, you're absolutely fooling yourself.
No, yeah. Exactly. And the fact, too, with our defense, man, when your offense is throwing the ball 60 times a game, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say, you can't set up the pass with pass. That's just not good coaching. You got to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? When you're running the ball 10 times a game, 6 times a game, that's never going to help a defense because it's 3 and out comes up real fast, Of course, it was forcing a lot of throws, I've seen a lot of passes where he could have did check downs where he just wanted to go for the deep ball. I feel like every time, ever since the Super Bowl, Carson's been trying to win the Super Bowl on every pass he threw. But
why is that? That was why. Because of the pressure put on by the media, the front office, the fans, having Nick Foles on his back, having Jalen Hurts on his back. You can say that's making excuses or not. You want to put a man in a winning situation. You give him the confidence and the tools to do so. You want to tell me he's had the tools over the last few seasons to give him in a winning situation? Alshon Jeffrey's been playing on 2 flat tires. Zach Ertz has rapidly declined in a way that nobody would have predicted. That's why you go and got a guy like Dallas Goedert, why you had to go and steal him from Dallas a few years ago when you go and do all. So you can't sit there and tell me that they put him in a situation to do so. You put him in a situation to go and get value. That's what exactly you tore him down so you can go get value for him. You know what you had in him. You just didn't like the fact that the other things that he was bucking back, that he wanted his guys. And this is all, in my opinion, this was all about control, that Carson was ran out, that Doug was ran out of control. and it started the ran out when they rung Frank Reich out. You can agree, you can disagree, but that's my belief on it.
Yeah, but I also look at it to the point where Carson just got paid $30 million. We couldn't pay another backup no $10 million, $8 million. So the Jalen Hurts thing should never even been an issue with him. It was in the second round. Wasn't like we went out in the first round and got a quarterback.
Yeah, but
Carson Wentz.
But everyone knows he was a first round talent. He made it very well and clear he came into the NFL to be a starter. He didn't intend to sit with a clipboard for a few years. Them making that pick was breeding disaster.
But the $30 million should have made him not worry about it, because you can bring in $30 million.
We seen how much that $30 million meant absolutely nothing, right?
No.
And not only did it mean absolutely nothing, it put us in cap purgatory, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what were we able to do? We had to drudge the dredges of the wager wire, and we're still looking for guys that should already be on this team because we had to maneuver around cap situations. We haven't signed guys because we're still having to maneuver around cap situations. That is a situation that we shouldn't be dealing with, because we should just be talking about what Carson Wentz should be getting ready to do on another season. But hey, that's not the plan that the Eagles front office went. They went in another direction. This is what we're going with. And hey, guess what? They're still not in on this guy. They're still not in on this guy, fans. You're already hearing these. It's a known secret that we're going after Deshaun Watson once his charges are being dropped and he's free of it. So if you already know that, you can't sit there and tell me that the contract thing is a legit thing, because we already know the money means nothing these days when it comes to it. You can sign that guy they buy their way out of these things. They put themselves in hell or not. They work out or not. The contract is nothing for anything but to make sure that these guys are paid for their services.
But the difference is, you hear all that Deshaun Watson talk, but you see the difference of Jalen Hurts, how he reacts towards the situation. He's not out there, crying about it. He's out there working harder and harder.
How many times have he been able to deal with that?
When college,
like, listen, I beat this to death because I've talked to professional fighters a lot. The mental aspect is a real thing. You could beat someone down with it. And it's even worse when you have somebody inside of what you feel is your group doing it. When that happens, you create an environment that someone doesn't want to be along with. Even if they have to play along with it, they don't want to be there. And that's why he found himself to where he's at. That's why we're in this situation. And like I said, everyone plays a part into it. Us, the fans, play it to a small degree. The next step goes to the media, because they're the ones that help everyone pull all the string. And then you have the Eagles front office.
What if Carson,
who's been doing nothing but feeding you lies since 2017?
But what if we didn't get Jalen Hurts and Carson got hurt? Then we'd be sitting there with garbage as quarterback.
You'd be in a rough situation. But
he was, to me, he looked like he was just a cheap fix for the problem for the backup quarterback situation.
We're gonna find out that real soon if these rumors are true about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, But back to the team this year. How'd you like the draft? Are you 100% on board with the
I absolutely loved the number one. I think that was the right one. Familiarity is a real thing. In the NFL, in life, you get a guy like that they have a connection.
Mm-hmm.
So not only that, he was arguably the most exciting wide receiver coming out of this year's draft.
Oh yeah.
You have to like the fact you pick up some extra picks. You have to go and give Howie his hats off for that. He does well in these areas, and I think he should be kept around for these things. When it comes to contracts, when it comes to the human relation side of things, you should find a way to phase him out and get him out of that situation. He's won his ring. He's got his glory. He's been dubbed the best GM in football before. Get him out of this situation, because he is going to find a way to run this team out too.
Oh,
now, if I'm, and you're hearing a lot of things like people are like, oh well, We're already out on Nick Sirianni. The guy hasn't even did a single freaking OTA yet, and we're
Right.
out on him. You're already running them out the building. This is what I'm talking about. The Philadelphia media is toxic. There's parts of the Eagles front office that is toxic. It's our team. We're always gonna love you, but you see a spade, you call a spade, Philly.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking at. Don't be silly.
So you think do you want Watson?
There's a few sides of this.
Okay.
Now, you could be in the camp with you're not happy with the accusations and all things like that. Listen, we already went through the Michael Vick era. I really don't want to play the moral high ground.
Right.
I'll say this, that if you did do something of that nature to a woman, that wasn't invited to, you're a piece of crap.
Yep.
Point blank and period. Then the other side comes into it where that kid is a freaking star, but you also know there's injuries.
Mm-hmm.
There's injuries that come into that, so you're right back into the Carson Wentz conversation. But that kid is a star. He is a superstar. There is no question. There's no question of the arm. There's no question of his football IQ. And which that's the other part we're seeing that is absolutely disgusting about not just Philadelphia media, but NFL sports media, finding ways to tear down Jalen Hurts before he even gets a real chance to be the starting quarterback, to be QB1 for the Philadelphia Eagles, without a shroud of a Carson Wentz, without the shroud of he's coming off the bench as a backup, giving him a full season, giving him a full training camp where he's the guy taking number one reps. Oh, well, he's not, seeing Sims's list and seeing Dan Orlovsky's list and sitting there not giving the guy any respect, any love. Doesn't have the quarterback IQ, doesn't have the arm, isn't a leader. And when you hear the absolute opposite from your teammates, but what you should regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really not going to give this kid a shake. And then this is why we're hearing the stuff about Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also come into the thing where we talk about of how the black quarterback gets treated by big media.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia has always been good to our quarterbacks. At least since I've been alive, what I've seen. Yeah, have we been hard on him? Randall Cunningham, he didn't kind of become the total quarterback until he went to Minnesota for whatever reason that was. Was absolutely heart-wrenching watching him and Randy Moss break records and saying, why couldn't you do that when you had Calvin Williams and Freddie Barnett? Why? But no, but this is what we have to deal with Philadelphia fans. And this is what I guarantee you might have to watch with at some point with Carson Wentz, and he might go and get another ring or maybe two with over there in Indianapolis. When they're able to kind of put things together, whether it's this season, a couple seasons from now, he is going to get another ring.
Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says about
that over there in Indy because he don't have the media. Playing in Philly, you gotta have a strong mind. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be willing to deal with the media. You gotta be willing to handle your business without letting the distractions distract you. Because as we see, all the players that got distracted, they're out of here. The coaches got distracted. They won that Super Bowl. They got too high on their high horse. He went out and wrote a book after he won one Super Bowl, like his second year coaching. It's like, come on now, you gotta be a little bit more humble to that. Because after that made Doug play Doug ball.
Let me ask you this. Being a guy of Doug Peterson's ilk, he was the career backup. He was just an X's a go guys. He was always a guy that was born to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And you win your first Super Bowl on your first big head coaching gig in the NFL, and some idiot in this city goes and offers you a freaking contract to sign a book. You gonna tell him no?
It's not that you're gonna tell him no.
I agree with you that it's something like he probably should have worked the contract up. He was like, you know what? Can we let me start writing this up now? But let's see if we can work out something where it's something we can publish in about 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, something like that. Because after that, he wanted.
But again, this is something like we can always rip apart in hindsight. But when it happens, like you know how small it is to get these opportunities when it's high, you got to go and run with it, man.
But it costs jobs,
You listen, you fake it till you make it sometimes. You know what I mean?
right?
You know what I mean? You go look at Carlos Mencia, man, and that dude was at his highest of highs, and then all of a sudden everyone figured out how he did it.
Right.
Listen, man, when the stars shining on you and the lights are on you and people are throwing opportunities at you, you take advantage of them, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do. But I just think it costed him because then he got too controlling. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't molding players. He was just making players run his system, just like Jim Schwartz. They started making people run their system.
But Jim Schwartz has always been that guy. Like, listen, we go back and look at that. Like, he's always done that. Where it's like he's got that them guys up front that are nasty, and then the linebackers are, I don't know who these guys, and you have good athletic guys who can play the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Which he had with Jalen Mills had a season out of his freaking mind and out of his freaking body.
Mm-hmm.
And no one can take anything away from Malcolm Jenkins. He's won multiple Super Bowls. He's a class of a man of himself on and off the field. And then you pieced everything together. Like, so you can say what you want, but they all played into his system, because if you look at it, it was ultimately, like, you look at it, it was the downfall of it. He's sitting there like one of those guys back in the day, like, I got 3 plays and they're like Novocaine, give it time, it'll work.
It always works.
He's one of them guys, man.
It's
just like you get predictable and you get into your things, and then, like, injuries start playing in, and guys they start getting a hold of your tendency. It's like in anything, everyone catches on to what you're doing eventually. It don't matter how high to the mountain you get. After you get to the top of the mountain, you need to knock yourself back down into hell, so to speak, and rebuild yourself back up. It's something you always have to do, regardless if we're talking about NFL football. It's regardless if you're the champion and you're going to be 19-0. Or if you're going to be the bum of the league, you have to find a way to tear yourself down, to find things you did good at, to find the things you're terrible at, to find ways to get better at, to find ways to make your team better, or to find other ways to make yourself better as a person. It's just, you have to do it.
Remember, Andy couldn't get over the hump, and then after he went to Kansas City, he started having an offensive coordinator. He called his own plays for all the time he was with us, but then he realized he had to take a step back to take a step forward. Then he got a Super Bowl. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that like, subscribe to this guy, Steven from A2D, great content creator. You know what I'm saying? We're keeping them live. We're keeping them fresh on here. Shout out to my channel if you haven't subscribe to that. And we always talking birds, baby. We always talking birds. So, how do you feel about this season, the way Coach Nick Sirianni is taking their approach?
Well, listen, season 1, there should be absolutely no expectations for this season. This should all be about to see what's going to work in the system, how these coaches are going to work, how these players are going to work. You're going with half of what you built with Doug, and you're just getting a new infusion of what Nick Sirianni wants to do with this team. It's one of these things, man. Like, I know, like, you've seen some crazy things already where people should bet on the Eagles not winning more than 4 games. You've seen somebody that's already made a freaking goddamn Super Bowl bet on this team. Hey, so
I bet
we see the highs, we see the lows, but, like, let's meet somewhere in the middle. I was sitting there. I said it on my show. I like somewhere around 7 or 8 wins. I'm gonna stick with that. That's where I like this team. But they have that upside where you're in a division where if Washington doesn't live up to the potential that they could be, and Dallas is still the team that we think they are, where it's like, you get it where they have all these weapons, but they always find ways to kind of destruct on themselves. It's like those Eagle Railroad teams where they were good, but they would always find ways to hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of have a feeling like that's what I see with this team. Dak Prescott, hope he has a bounce back season. As much as I have a disdain for the Cowboys, and I always feel that no matter what, that they're a rival, I always feel that we always blow that out of proportion just because Dallas Cowboy fans are insufferable.
Yeah.
But
Cowgirls, man.
getting back, the Washington Redskins should be the team that wins this division, if you ask me. I think they should. That defense is unfreaking believable. The Giants shouldn't be anything to worry about. If the Eagles can kind of sneak in and find ways to get some big road wins, we can switch that win total to anywhere from 7 to 9. You get in 9, you're in wild card contention and possibly playoffs.
Yeah,
anything can happen when you have a lot of still the veterans that are around on this team on offense. I think people are underestimating Jalen Hurts as a leader, as a quarterback. He may not have the arm to freaking hit you in stride 70 yards down the field, but he is a QB1 in this league. I really don't care what anyone says on what level. Like I said, you can get mad of my Tyrod Taylor interpretation of it, but it's not a really bad interpretation if you really look at what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, he's in a better situation right now with this team that's put in front of him than Tyrod's ever been in his whole career.
Yeah. I think
especially if Jalen Reagor actually steps up and lives up to that number one pick moniker, and you get a little bit more production out of Miles Sanders with a little bit more consistency from your offensive line, and you have a little things where you can work on some wing things, and you have some depth where you could be potentially dangerous on offense if you're healthy, and if Nick Sirianni is able to put this thing together. The real question is always going to be I don't know what you can put into that defense and actually have trust in believing that is actually going to happen.
Well, yeah, those are some good points. Like our boy JC said, the first half is every year division. You know what I'm saying? We did it in 2019, finished last, follow season first. You know what I'm saying?
I just think like why hold on to them expectations when in reality you see what's in front of you, see that schedule. Like, listen,
I think there's only 2 teams in that schedule that you could say should beat us, and that's Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Other than that, it's any man for himself. We can win all the games. To be honest,
I don't think we can win the Atlanta game at all.
I think we're gonna blow Atlanta out. Well, maybe not blow them out, but we're gonna win Atlanta. I think that's an easy game.
I mean, we played them tough. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's one of them games. It's one of them. That's one you got to watch out for. Yeah. I said the big thing is we always play well at home. You only drop 2 at home. If you come up and pull 1 or 2 road wins off, like I said, we're having a different conversation, and this could possibly be a playoff team.
See, I see like all the coaches that we've ever had their first year, no one gave credit to. We didn't really like Andy when he first got here. We didn't like.
And that's my thing. I don't know why anyone's out on this guy. Like, I get it. He wasn't the sexy pick. Like, Ray Rhodes wasn't even a favorite, and he's still his time here is still recognized as good. He just didn't quite have some of the pieces, and he was trying to use on a restricted cap and everything like that. Like he was handicapped in a lot of areas that people tend to forget about.
Yeah, and then like we got a whole new offense. Everybody,
man, you ain't lying about that. You pull that last comment up.
Yeah, exactly. And Julio's always been the killer for us, and now he's not.
But that's the thing that you even say. Like, that's why I say if you have Slay and you go and pull that trigger with Miami and you trade Ertz and able to pull Howard, Xavier Howard up here to pair with them, with the young kids that you got there with the safeties. I like that back end, and then that defense does look a little better than. Maybe that, the free agent signings that you go and make there at linebacker and Alex Singleton, maybe it is a little bit of an overachiever again, and you're still able to get quality snaps and plays out of him. Then yeah, maybe it's something we can adjust that. But listen,
you gotta think everything you like Washington about in terms of their defense is their defensive line, and you gotta realize Kerrigan had just as many sacks as Chase last year with a third of the time.
That's I think the interesting about this team this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you bring a guy like RK in here, and with our you already had going on that defensive front, you got BG and things like that. Cox isn't once the guy he once was, but listen, he's still a freaking animal over there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going to happen on the other side. I really hope that Joshua just really kind of takes over that position.
Yes.
Nothing against Derek Barnett. I just think you should find a way to get him out of here and get him a new scenery or something like that. Or maybe there was something that just how he was being used in Jim Schwartz's defense, and he's able to kind of get some new life this season under that. If you ain't seen nothing him in training camp, get him out of here, please, and
Mm-hmm.
give Josh Sweat them reps and the other young defensive ends, and that's just my take on that one.
Mm-hmm. And then we still got
He's one of
Bargate.
these guys that he needs to show you something to make this roster.
Mm-hmm.
We already know that more than likely, Arcega Whiteside's probably done here.
Yeah. No.
you know,
Forget Jay.
Mama and her umbrella is gonna have to move to another city real soon.
Yeah. And see, that's why I think the reason why we're gonna take a lot of team off, by storm is because we got too many players with something to prove. We got Goddard have to prove that it was a good decision to go ahead and let Ertz go. We have Hurts got to prove he's gonna be.
Well, Ertz hasn't been let go yet. Like I said, we gotta pull that. We got to pull that. That is probably the biggest thing right now is getting rid of Zach Ertz, getting yourself another cornerback, either via trade or you go and pick up Stevie now and stop playing games.
Yeah, but even if Ertz stay, he's not gonna be the starter. And I don't think he's gonna want us to be a backup to Goddard. I think it's Goddard's in contract years.
All right, listen. I don't think that Zach Ertz has any attention to wear Eagles green and wear 86 here in Philadelphia this season.
Mm-hmm.
None. And I don't think he should. He made it very well and clear what he wanted. Obviously, he's gonna have some sour patch kids in his mouth after everything that happened with Carson Wentz. Let him go. Why are we holding on to this?
Let him get to
go and find something. It's one of these things. The distracting situation. Just get him out of here.
I think
it's like you're holding on to the cancer in the family just because they're a family member. I love you, but it's time to go play somewhere else.
What would you think about this trade? Sending Zach to Indianapolis coach just for Xavier Rhodes.
I mean, it's not bad, but I would probably want someone younger with a little bit more upside. That's why I said I like the Howard thing too. Miami deals with us. That's the other thing too. Yeah, we just made the trade with that, but I think that's more of a spurn thing. They should have packaged him up when we traded Carson in the first place.
Right, it's true that. What would you think about? We got upcoming practices with the Patriots and the Jets. You think Howard?
I actually like the fact that we're getting more inter-team OTA practices. It gives everybody a different look. I think they should probably look into more keeping it away from teams that are going to be playing each other consistently. Like you should probably rotate it every few years. Like since you're going to play every 4, like rotate it every 2.
You think Howard's going to be taking a look at Mr. Gilmore over there?
I don't know.
And would you want him?
I don't think they're going to bring him in. Like I said, I think it's either one of the free agents or Miami's my pick. Really, honestly, believe that. Wouldn't have a problem with Gilmore again. Like I said, me personally, if I'm putting the GM hat on, I would rather kind of stick with the younger guy and go from there, man.
I just think if you paired him up with a guy like Big Play Slay, let like McPherson play some a little bit, and get a little mentorship behind those two. Next year we got 3 first rounders. Go ahead and use 2 of them to move up to get like Stingley if he has a good year. And then maybe pick up another double dip on them and get another CB later on in the draft. And then you could let them mentor for another year, get rid of both of them. And now you got a cornerback set up for the future.
I kind of try to see what you get with them picks, see what they wind up being, seeing what you're doing. I would rather kind of build through this draft and not trying to go and throw too much money away at it.
What do you
We
think
have to
about?
see, but we're also still going off the mindset of what this team normally does and things they've done. Listen, one thing that this team has not had in a long time, nor have they drafted one that is worth noting anything. And we've only got lucky with the fact that we had Jeremiah Trotter here. Did not treat that man right in any way, shape, or form. Missed out on Micah Parsons. That'd have been real fun to see him in Eagle Green after playing in Penn State. Doesn't happen. I still think you need the field general, and it doesn't necessarily have to be from that safety position, which is where they've been typically keeping it over the last 20 years. If you really look at it,
Mm-hmm.
the defensive captain has always been in that deep backfield.
I do
So
agree. I wanted even Jabril Cox last year. I was hoping this last past draft, I was hoping we drafted him. We haven't spun a high draft pick on a linebacker. You're right in a long time, except for Hicks, and then we ended up letting Hicks go. He went somewhere else. That's another thing. Player development with this last coaching staff. Look at all the players that left Philadelphia and went other places to become
and did
good.
well.
Yeah, and did good. All the way up from Jones, Rasheed Douglas. Remember when Chin came over, then he sucked and he went back and then he was good again, with the Patriots, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was all, to me, I see it as like a whole coaching staff thing. And that's why they got Nick and all these young guys in there that's going to coach these guys and adapt the playbook to those guys' skill sets.
Listen, you have to know what your roster is and play it with strengths and
Mm-hmm.
not kind of just try to make everyone fit into your hole. Sometimes you have to realize what you have with your team and just kind of make the best out of it and make your adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Those what the best do. Sometimes you can whittle down that peg to fit in the hole you want to, but sometimes it's much better to just kind of find a different place on the board to foot it.
Are you comfortable with our receiving core?
Would like them to be a little bit bigger. No, obviously, both Smith and Reger aren't winning every jump ball down there, but they make up for a lot of that with some of their athleticism that they put together. But I like what we got. Both with their playmaking ability, the young guys that you got there, with the exception of our Arcega-Whiteside. You like a guy like Howard. Ward is always gonna be a sure hand guy. And he's another guy that's loved in this city. As much as I've been hammering on him, you hope Travis Fulgham can give you quality catches and quality reps throughout the season.
Yeah, who's your start for? Who's your start? Give me your starting 5 receivers. Who's making the team? How many are going to make the team, you think, this year? How many receivers we're keeping, and who would be your receivers keeping?
It's rough, man. It's that receiver core, because you already know you're probably gonna keep 5, but the question is who's gonna wind up getting rolled out and make it through to practice squad.
Okay.
So what
You
you're probably have to hope is our Arcega-Whiteside is probably gone. The guy you really might like. I know I just mentioned him. He needs to watch his job. Is Greg Ward Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the like you were saying is that the bottom part of that depth chart isn't guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
We know.
Well, he's a running back that can play receiver too, so we're going to be bringing him out of the backfield on some special.
Yeah, and I think the bigger question what you have to look forward to in camp is who's staying at running back, because you're keeping 3,
mm-hmm.
right?
I think
you're keeping 4. 3, but who's gonna make the case that if they're gonna keep 4, right? So
how you go receiver? If you're saying we're keeping 5 receivers, then
I said we're at least keeping 5. You know what I mean?
5 would you say for sure is going to make the roster?
What? Smith, Reger. You got a Hightower. You guess you're gonna have to put Ward in there, right?
My list would be Smith, Reger, Quez, Fulgham, Hightower.
You're saying Quez Watkins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has to be on here because he in my opinion he should be the one back there on your kicks too.
Mm-hmm. And then for running backs, I see Miles Gainwell obviously going to be on the team, and then on Johnson, and then it's a toss up between Boston Scott and Howard,
See, that's the question there.
or even Elijah Holyfield or Killings. We had with those young guys. It's hard to even say they're completely out
Is
because
Adrian? He got cut off of the practice squad last year. Is he still on it, or
I
they
thought,
have him on there?
yeah, I thought he
Okay.
came back this year. And I think he's going to be like your kickoff return guy. You know what I'm saying? Like a punt return guy because he got some speed on him.
So now the quasi fans of this fan base are going to get upset because Boston Scott and Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham probably won't be on this team this season.
Yeah.
If you want this team to win, they probably shouldn't be here. You need to get I love Boston Scott. I do.
I do.
As you're saying, Kenny Gaineswell, you already have Howard there, man. Like, listen, you need the hammer too. You didn't have that much of the hammer last season. We need the hammer, especially if you don't think Miles Sanders is in between the tackle guy. If he's not, then there should be no room for Boston Scott on this team. And Elijah Holyfield, Kenny Gaineswell, Howard, like those guys should be getting more reps.
Oh yeah, and see,
but also you have to make sure when you put them on the field, that's not the only thing you're doing, because that's a lot of things that got Doug into trouble. He's got really predictable with his player packages too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can see a lot of different scenarios. So with the speed that we have on our offense, man, like I said, even if imagine you have Quez Watkins, Rager, Smith, and then in the backfield you got Miles Sanders with Kenny.
But I still think another thing that we do is as fans is when we see these draft picks, we overvalue what we think they are and what they should be in this league. Like as much as I'm high on them, I still need to see the production. We're putting ourselves in the right situation, but we don't know if Jalen Hurts is the guy right now. We're all hoping for the best and thinking that he should be the guy, but very well he could be what we fear he is, and that he isn't the guy.
From a small sample size, I think I'm 95% sure he's the guy. Just from that 4 games, and if you want to take it farther back than that, you can go to his college stats too. But in terms of those 4 games, in the first game he came in cold, not very many reps. Starting that Saints game and beat the number 1 defense in the league. And then you're like, okay, he didn't throw for that much yards. He rushed for a lot of yards that game. What did he do? He came back the next game against Cardinals and threw for 350 and rushed for 100. So he's like, I did both this time. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for our defense, we should have won that game. He had a down game in Dallas, and you can't even count the Redskins game because he just scored a touchdown right before half at the Redskins game. He was going to come back, and I think if he would have played the whole game, we would have won that game.
Listen, this team is so freaking up and down. You don't know what's what. Like I said, we still have a lot of questions around this team. The pundits want to sit there and put us at 4 wins. I don't think that's it.
When the last time the Eagles only won 4 games? That's so long ago. I can't even imagine that happening again. I see the exact opposite.
Listen, man.
I think we're going.
I wouldn't be upset about it because then it just puts us in a position to completely blow this thing up and rebuild it the way it needs to be. And the funny part is, with where you would be sitting with picks, you could still very well trade him and go and like I said, like the rumors are saying, go get a Deshaun Watson and not even have to go and get the quarterback and kind of see if you borrow some other time and just fill some other holes some other ways.
Yeah.
We're in such a weird we're in a transition year that very well could still turn around into being a playoff year. So it's one of those weird times where the pendulum has swung down, but it could be either coming back up or on the rest of the way falling off. So
shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us today. Please hit that like, subscribe to Steven from A2D Radio. You know what I'm saying? He got great content on his channel. And also subscribe to me if you're not a subscriber already. We're definitely pumping out a lot of good content coming on our station. So Okay, so give me the person you think has the most pressure on.
Right from the gate. Without a doubt, you can cross slash it as coach quarterback. It's always going to be the ones who are always have the most pressure on them is the ones that are always going to have the eyes on them the most. Nick Sirianni is coming into a no win situation in one of the most toughest, brutalist fan bases from both us the fans and media like going to it, and you know what Jalen Hurts has already been through is quite impressive from everything he's overcome from college till
Mm-hmm.
now to this point right now. So he has a lot of stuff on it, but I think he's kind of built for this situation.
Yes.
So you could sit there and not be on team one or team two, if you want to still
Hurt
count
season, baby.
but this is a new year. This is a new team. It's his team now. I still, like I said, I still think they put him in a better position than they did Carson the last few years. Jalen Rager is another one you have to might put in there. Miles, at already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I told you that Derek Barnett's another one you could possibly put out there, but I mean, who else could you possibly put in that? Like, I mean, if anything, just the whole team is just having it on there.
All right. Richie MC says, would you rather have Hurts or Field? Hurts or Matt Jones? Hurts or Mod? Or Hurts or Lance?
Not a fan of Ingram.
All
Over Hurts, no.
right. Yeah. I think
I mean,
Hurts
I
is
would rather
a
see his
field.
upside than go on to make a move for Mac or Mond or Trey Lance or any of those guys. Man, listen, no disrespect to them or their skill set, but I mean, aren't they still in the same ilk of a guy as a Jalen Hurts has to set that similar type of style and skill set? Let the kid play, man. As much as I was Team Carson, I still am Team Carson.
Big ups to Philly Mike dropping up in the podcast today. What's up, my guy?
But
Yeah.
again, back to Richie's comment, man. Like, listen, no disrespect to Fields, Jones, or Trey, man. Just I want to see what Jalen can do this year, especially like I said, I think the Smith pick made it even more intriguing because, like I said, that the chemistry thing, the mental thing, when you have somebody like how they play, how they think, and things like that, it just it makes you such a better player, so much more confident in what you're doing, and that is a big thing. We've seen what happens when you mess not with the quarterback's confidence, but his chemistry with his guys. It just throws everything off. I think he's in a good situation. It's
Mm-hmm.
really up to Jalen if he really truly is who what a lot of fans feel he is. But I just want to see what he can do. For better, for worse, we'll see what happens. I really hope that that I'm wrong and they do not go after the Deshaun Watson, that they do give this kid a fair shake. Because I mean, you really think about it, like with the exception, I think of Donovan McNabb. Since then, no one has really gotten a fair shake as a quarterback. Michael Vick didn't
I didn't
really got
even have a fair
Michael
shake.
Vick didn't even really get a fair shake when he was here. As much as I talk about he was a project, he was brought in because they failed as being able to draft the quarterback. Carson was the first one that they've got in a while. Nick was a one that they had right that they couldn't get everything right around him and let him go.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is what I'm sitting there saying. Like you have these situations where you get parts of the pieces that work and then you give up on the pieces because not everything not the other band-aids didn't work out the way you wanted to. So you're going to put all the blame on the coach and the quarterback.
So let's take this question differently. Take Hurts out. If we didn't have Hurts, which one of those quarterbacks would you want?
Oh. Give me Trey.
Lance?
Yeah, give me Trey Lance.
Okay. Going for the upside there.
Yeah.
Because he got all the
man, dude. Come on. I mean, if we're already going on that road, like if you're staying in that ilk and you want to still like use them names, like listen, they all like dude, Justin Fields is also fucking one of them guys, man. But
Yeah.
listen, I just love, like, we're Philly guys, man. So we love the guys that don't get all the love that probably should. You know what I mean?
I think Mac Jones with the Patriots was a brilliant draft. That's the only
But
spot.
that's a system player. That's
Yes.
a system
And
player.
that's a
He's made
perfect
for that
system
system.
for him. Yeah.
I don't think he's successful in a whole lot of systems right now.
No.
And oh man, the Hoodie better leave him on that freaking bench for at least 6 weeks.
Yeah. I think
At least 6 weeks, man.
But once he gets going in that system, like I said, out of all 32 teams, that was the one place that I think he can succeed in. You know what I'm saying? He kind of is Brady-esque with a little bit more athleticism. Yep, he came from the same school as Wentz. That's why, man, for me, like, I'm not that big on Zach Wilson or Trey Lance or none of these small school guys. I want the guys playing prime time.
I still think if you look at it, Carson's kind of broke that mold for a year.
Yeah.
For a year.
Don't get me. Look at Zach Wilson. He only really had one good season that was like, woo. You know what I'm saying? No one was.
But even if you go and look at Carson, like, all right, he did all that stuff, but like you said, like, he's had injuries over the years, and it's rough, especially when you don't have complete things around you, man. And this game ain't for the weak. Like I sit there and say, like, can you imagine putting some of these quarterbacks in the older age? Like, you think Tom Brady would have been successful in the 70s or 80s? I don't think so.
No.
But can you imagine how some of these running backs would have done back then? Now,
Woo.
like, yeah. I mean, like put Herschel Walker on this team now with that, like I mean, granted, we had him at some point in time. Bo's another one, man, but Bo was just, that hip injury was too much.
Who's your top 5 running backs of all time?
That's a fun one, man. Well, Sweetness, that's number one. No one. Then you go Earl. Then you go Jim. Barry.
And
then Marcus Allen.
And Allen. Ooh, that's a good list, though. I like it.
And I'm leaving, like, and everyone says I'm a hater for leaving Emmett off there. I'm like, how many freaking Pro Bowlers did he have on that team?
Yeah.
Or no, not Pro Bowlers. Hall of Famers did he have on that team and offensive line? The whole interior.
The whole line.
Stop it.
Was Pro Bowl starters. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't give Emmett the love. Like, obviously he broke the record, but like I always say, Barry Sanders would have broke that record if he had came back one more year. You know what I'm saying? He retired early.
And Barry did it with absolute garbage around him.
Yes. That's why I get Barry Sanders to be the number 1 running back in my book of all time. I got Walter Payton at a close second. Jim Brown, coming in third. And then, I kind of diverse off, a couple of different style of backs. Like, I really like Marshall Faulk and like LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, those were two.
I put them in like a slasher back category because they were one of the first few guys that would absolutely bury you out of the backfield, and not just bury you out of the backfield, but they'd make the linebackers look silly, and it's just those two broke a mold and set a precedent for guys that may not have been the guys that can beat you up through the middle, but they would absolutely make a outside linebacker's worst nightmare come true.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where you can't. I think you literally have to put them in a different category because they're not. People say scat back. It's just a slasher back. There's not scat back.
Yeah.
Scat back is just somebody who's in the backfield, and the thing where they make the most is those big plays where you do those H circle posts that you see on Madden. Yeah, that's what those guys are special for. Those are situational guys, and those are scat backs. Where this is not a scat back. These are guys who could catch 100 balls and have 1,000 yards receiving out of the backfield because they were that good. Their hands were that good. They were that elusive.
Mm-hmm.
I
Now,
think. Go ahead,
I was gonna say, give me your top 5 now in the league.
man. I mean, it's so rough because you just there's so many different areas where you go into it. Like, are you the one that you like the the Derrick Henrys of the world? Because
Derrick,
I'm always like the ones who's gonna run you over. I'll
to me,
always
Derrick
be
Henry's the best
them
back.
Jerome Bettis type guys. I always love them guys.
To me,
When
Derrick
Mike
Henry
at when,
right
when we
here.
had the fullbacks and Mike Allstott was still running, I still love them guys. You know what I mean?
Derrick Henry's right here, number 2. It starts about right there, like in terms of he got a gap between the rest of the running backs.
Yeah, he's handed and it's funny because right before him, like everyone thought what was it Chris Johnson? They thought he was going to be like the next guy, and then Derrick Henry was like, wait a minute, guys, wait,
Yeah,
I got this. But
dude.
yeah, I think you can't even there's respect the rest of the guys in the league, but just there's
Yeah,
nobody. I can't even think of anyone I want to mention after him right now.
for me, I put like Derrick Henry, and then I like Kamara.
Like I like Alvin. Let me stop. I like Alvin,
Yeah,
but like again, but
I
like I
like
said,
Miles
like
Sanders in the top 5 too. I do.
mhm.
I think he just hasn't got the chance to prove it. Last year I thought he was going to do it.
And I'm a Penn State guy, man. I just think he falls into that H back that I think he's more dangerous out of the backfield than he is than he's in between the tackles, and he should be used that way.
because like last year I was reading the stats.
I think you're right. He really hasn't. But I don't think does. You really think he has the frame to give you 250 carries in between the tackles?
I think so. And then like last year against top 10 rushing defenses, he had more yards than Derrick Henry. He had 93 carries for 540 yards, and Derrick Henry against top 10 defenses had 107 carries for like 120 yards. So he had less carries and more yards against top 10 defenses rushing the ball last year. Plus, he's only got to have 3 80 yards.
Well, we got to show us this year, man. Boogie got to show us this year.
Yeah, but last year they just didn't give him the rock enough. I think they would have gave him a rock, and then he would still have suspect stats. Then you can.
But that also goes back to what we were talking about with the offensive line too.
Yeah.
When you don't have stability there, it makes it really hard to run the ball, and it makes it really hard on the quarterback, and it makes you really predictable.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true, man. Well, let's go ahead and go with it. What game do you think is going to be the most exciting game of the year this year?
For the Brady game. Come on, stop it. Brady. Eagles Tampa.
You think so?
Of course.
I
mean, listen. Listen, when it comes to rivalry for me, it's the Giants and then the Cowboys. But we all know that over the last 10 years, the Brady rivalry has become a real thing in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And you could be on it, you could be against it, whatever. I think looking at the schedule is the first thing that everyone on that team circled outside of Dallas. Yes, you got to beat Dallas. It's divisional stuff. It's something we look about and talk about every year. It'll come more prevalent once the season come here and we see who's who. But I think when you're talking about excitement, I mean, it's the one you should be excited about. It's the Super Bowl champs. You want to see where this kid is. You want to see where you stand. You want to see if your team's for real. That should be the game everyone's excited for. Or Kansas City. Depends how you want to look at it. You want to see if Big Red still got it. If the Eagles are ready to kind of push and trying to show the league that they're not as bad as they were last year. That they're ready to get back into that contendership category, then those are the games. You mentioned it, brother. You already rung it out. You already pulled it up. Other than that, it should only either be Dallas or the Giants, or like I said, if you're in the belief that the Washington Redskins are gonna win this division, then those should be the games you're gonna circle. Other than that, who else do you want to talk about? I already talked. You want to talk about Atlanta that early in the season? That's not the game I'm really concerned about. I want to see how we're gonna fare up against the teams that are supposed to beat us. If we do more than hang around for a few quarters, if we give them a hard time, then yeah, I'm excited for what the future of this team is, of the coaching staff is, of the talent of this team. But We got to see it. It's still
What do you think
early.
the record's
You
gonna
know
be?
what? We're still 50 plus days away, but before we see our boys throw the pads on for some meaningful football. Let's see what they can do. Let's make sure they can get through this thing healthy. Let's make sure that this team gels. We're putting together a new team, a new coaching staff. They should have all the support from this fan base that it should get. Not having to listen to freaking nonsense of media trying to tear the coaching staff about. We're still hearing Carson Wentz nonsense. I don't want to hear anything about Carson Wentz. Love the guy. Thank you for the ring. Thank you for the memory. Sorry you couldn't do more for us while you were here. Thanks for getting us some value in getting out of here and all that. Other than that, I don't want to hear about him anymore. It's freaking Jalen Hurts time. Let's hopefully we can more than 7 games, and let's see what 2021 holds for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And what did Philly do today? That sign came down.
Yeah, like I said, man, watching people sitting there run their mouths. Oh, let's have a burning. No, actually, we should actually send it to him, have him freaking auction it off, and do what he normally does. Let him do his thing. Let him go about the right way because nothing about his exit should have been done the way it was done.
Mm-hmm.
At least do that. Sitting there hearing media and fans go, oh, let's have a burning. Stop it. Exactly. What he did for the community. He won us a Super Bowl first and foremost. People forget about that. Granted, Nick Foles was the one under the center that won the actual game. We wouldn't have been in that situation without him. And Carson Wentz, regardless of people might view his time here as a failure, won a Super Bowl here. He did so much for the people of Philadelphia, the people outside of the NFL community, for what he does on a regular daily basis, for people to treat him the way he has on his way out of here. I really hope that at some point in time you get to look in a mirror and really, really kind of adjust where you are in life, because none of the stuff that are said to a lot of these athletes really warranted. As much as I disdain of what Danny Green said, he's partly right. We run people out of this town, and that's why a lot of people tend not to come here, is because of the media and how crazy some of this fan base is. For good, for bad, but guess what? We always going to ride with you.
Oh, yeah. Eagles till we die, baby. Eagles till we die. We bleed green around here.
Always.
We bleed green. He just built a youth camp to help people in Haiti. Yeah.
Part of his AO1 Foundation is what he always does. We're talking about what Zach Ertz is getting ready to leave, and the stuff that he's done for this community. Make sure you guys are giving them the love they leave on the way out. Yeah, we may not have been happy with how things went and how things ended, but these guys deserve the respect, and our fan base deserve to have a little bit more respect for some of these guys that do give their blood, sweat, and tears for this city, for this fan base, and for the actual fans that can't afford to step up and do things and do the things that help the little people in life and in world. So remember, it's a game at the end of the day. Yeah, we're passionate. We want the best out of our players and the best out of our team, but everyone has somebody to go home to. We all have battles that we don't know about, and mm-hmm. Some people need to wake up and realize, the wins, the loss, the championships aren't everything.
Yeah, true that. Yep.
And listen, man, it goes on. We can go on. Like some of the stuff I've seen out of Bryce Harper over the past week, like we've seen the shooting that happened in Washington, and he's like one of the first players on social media reaching out, seeing if there's anything can do, regardless of the nonsense that already happened and some of the things that the players did that were great involved in that situation. But people remember how there wasn't a pretty end to the Bryce Harper situation in Washington, and he's one of the first people to reach out to you. That's what I'm sitting there saying. And then you're hearing nonsense fans running, he's not worth the contract. He absolutely is worth the contract, because he brings a certain value to Philadelphia in itself. He brings a certain value to Philadelphia, and we need to make sure that we continue to invite athletes of that ilk, because listen, they may not perform every day on the field, but they perform every day off it. I can guarantee you that.
Yes, sir. I fully agree, man. Those guys did put in a lot of work. All right. Well, my last one, and always got one of my good ones, is give me your all-time Eagles team.
All right, so what, we just doing one per position?
No, okay, we can go we start out with 2 quarterbacks. Give me your top 2 quarterbacks.
Man. It's Donnie and Randall.
Donnie and Randall.
I mean, listen, like, and it's crazy because, like I said, you already heard me. I'm a big Carson Wentz guy. I love Nick. I had Nick. I won a bet because of that Raider game where he won.
I was there.
One of my. I won it. Like he paid like $100 for Foles jersey, the Nike one that came out with that season.
Mm-hmm.
Won a bet because of that game. I was like, oh, the Raiders are gonna torch. Yeah, well, love them guys, but guess what? When you look at all-time greats, you cannot deny Randall brought football back in a special way in the city. Post Ron Jaworski, and
number 5.
And you can't. Yeah, listen, you can hate 5 for a lot of things, man, but the man did a lot of things, and you kind of wish whatever it was between him and T.O., they could have ever figured it out. Hopefully one of these days that they can give each other. And I'll even let you know this one. I was Team T.O. in that situation too. So that tells you how much respect I have for Donovan, that I still put him there knowing that I'm Team T.O.
Right. Okay, now we're going with 3 backs.
3. Ooh, man.
Put your
all right, well, I'm not the co-host, but my name's Steve Rochelle. I'm a on-air personality for A2D Radio. Make sure you head over to that YouTube subscribe and hit that like and subscribe button. Show some love over there. We got some content coming out every day. All right, running backs, man.
3. 3 backs.
Man. Well, I got to go Ricky Waters. I love me. I love me.
You're the first person that said him, and
I love me some Ricky.
Ricky Floyd Waters.
Everyone hated. Listen, y'all. If y'all take that first press conference out, erase that from freaking Eagles memory history. He's one of the underrated backs of that era. I'm going to be a lot of homerish on the running backs because we really haven't had that Hall of Fame moniker or anything like that. Honorable mention, I definitely got to throw some Herschel Walker in there. Loved his time here. But Deuce, you got to give Deuce the love. I know everyone loves B. West, but, man, I told you I love them hammers, man. Mm-hmm. I love them hammers. Give me them hammers. Deuce was our hammer. And he people underestimate his stuff out of the backfield, man. He find ways to slip and make some big plays happen.
That was a 3-headed monster back there with Corey Buckhalter, Deuce Staley, and Westbrook, man. That was deadly.
Not a people got. It's funny. I talk about him as an Eagle, but I met him after he left. He was doing a signing at Mitchell Ness, so I have a terrible towel from him.
Nice. So is that 2 or is that 3? Are you said no?
I'm not. I listen. Man, you have to say you got to say Wilbur Montgomery, man. Willie G needs to get on there, man. He was a part of that 80 team. He was crucial to keep that balance on some of them teams, and not a lot of people give Wilbur Montgomery that love, man.
He was a beast.
So
and he won 31, baby. He won 31.
Yeah, exactly. So you got 31. There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go with tight ends. Give me your top 2.
Chad Lewis has to be on that list.
Oh crap! That is another one we've been sleeping on. Man,
like everyone, listen. He blew out his leg. People forget his last play as an Eagle. He blew out his leg, caught a touchdown, and clinched us a spot to go to the freaking Super Bowl. That man deserves more respect. Brett Selleck probably wouldn't be as beloved as he was if it wasn't for that situation. And people are gonna hate me. I'm not gonna put Brett on this list. I gotta go with Keith Jackson.
It's Joe. Yes.
That's another guy that doesn't get love in this. He was I was a Miami Hurricane fool back in them days, man. Was so mad that we didn't get enough of them guys from them teams. They wound up too many other places that we should have went. Keith Jackson and Chad Lewis are my guys in there. Obviously, we had some good tight ends over the years. Some memorable, some unmemorable. The Jason Dunns of the world, man. we've had some interesting names there at tight end, but Chad Lewis is definitely one of them. Man, Keith
Both of
Jackson,
those were
man.
some, yes,
I wish we could have had a little bit more time when seeing how some of those things would have worked out.
Let's go 4 receivers.
Well, first and foremost, the most electrifying Eagle that you ever had played the position. You cannot mention Deshaun Jackson, the king of the deep ball, but he was Mr. Inconsistent and could not stay on the field, but you cannot not mention him in this list. He is arguably the most exciting wide receiver we've had on this team. He's one of the best deep threats the NFL has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You can't not mention him.
Yes.
Mike Quick, man. Mike Quick is without a doubt the next one that gets named on this list. He's there for a reason. I really don't have to go into too many more explanation into that. Absolutely, the third one on the list has to be Terrell Owens. There's without a doubt on it, and my fourth one is gonna be part of that buddy ball, and that's Fred Barnett. I feel he is so under loved in this city, man. Granted, he didn't get to finish his time here. He went down there to Miami. Freddie Barnett is one of these guys that I just didn't feel got enough love. Has some memorable plays here.
Yeah, it was good.
Everyone talks about the 90-yarder. I always forget the one that put that Randall put him one in the playoff game in like the far left corner. He jumps up, big play with his catching his chest, man. It was one of my favorite touchdowns from him outside of that 90-yarder. But those are my 4 wide receivers.
I like it. Now let's go to the big boys up front. Who you going with? Because I think that's a hard one.
It is, because they're so it's how you go with it. When you go like left tackle, man, you gotta go big Trey, man, big Trey Thomas.
Yeah, that's
was part of them Eagles team. That definitely got some love there.
It's a left guard,
man. Harriman's. I mean, I got to give Todd some love, man. He's a character on the field, off the field. Also, shameless plug. His company sponsors A2D Body Check Wellness. So I definitely gotta throw Mr. Harriman some love. Your center, man. You can't say anyone but Jason Kelsey, but you have to give an honorable mention to fucking Hank Fraley, man.
That's what
he was a freaking Iron Man.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted that guy on his team, and freaking Andy Reid was like, watch what this guy does. Yeah. Watch what this guy does. And he was a pillar of that team for quite some time. The other guard, I mean, Brooks is there right now as a reason, but there's a lot of guys over the years that deserve that love. Mike Shea was another one of them guys from the buddy ball teams. I just, he's a personality, man. I love that guy, man.
Ryan.
The other tackle, I'm a Lane guy through and through, but how do you not go with John Runyon, man? It has to. There's no other. The 2 tackles. If you mention anybody besides Trey or John Runyon, I can't take you seriously.
Like if you said Lane Johnson and JPP in his prime.
Oh, damn. Someone threw out my old school nickname. Look at that.
Was it Birdman?
Yeah, that's a dude. That's a high school nickname. I'm like, wait, what?
No, he was telling Birdman because that's who asked who you were.
Yeah,
Birdman 5951.
No, that's funny. That is a nickname from high school. I don't know if she's responding to the guy above, but that's a high school nickname people used to call me. I hate that stuff.
Well, that's good. Now let's flip it over to the defense. Starting off with your defense line.
Man. Well, listen, you can't say defensive end in Philadelphia without the man himself. It's Reggie White, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely Reggie White. But I mean, you've had so many great other defensive ends to talk about, and we've had over the years, man. It's just it's rough between the Clyde Simmonses of the world to I mean even some of them guys on Andy's team, like you know what I mean, like, and then weren't even like great guys to watch. The Darryl Tubbs, like even with the Ray Rose teams, like the package guys they would bring in here, but. Two defensive ends. You have to sit there. It has to be Reggie White, and it has to be Brandon Green. The strip sack will be for. They put the freaking statue of the freaking of the Philly when in reality it should be BG that has a statue. But I'm not Bud Light. I didn't make the statue. I didn't get to make those decisions. That's just my personal opinion. I think the strip sack is more important than Philly.
Nice.
So those are my two ends. Defensive tackles, man. It's real quick, real simple. It's no one else to mention but JB and Fletcher Cox. Most two dominant guys we had in those positions. Country boys through and through.
Yeah.
Are big pillars. I mean, we had a lot of guys, play defensive tackle here. We even had Refrigerator Perry playing here at points in time in his career. We had some fun guys playing there, but listen, those are my two for there. Those are my defensive tackles, man. Give me all day long.
3 linebackers.
Man, 3 linebackers. Well, so the Seth Jordan right from the gate. Right from the gate. It ain't a question. Axeman Jeremiah Trotter. Here's where you run into some problems with the third one. I mean, you got so many different people you could talk to. Byron Evans. We could talk about Bill Romanowski.
Ooh,
I mean, there's so many people that played here over the years. But, man. I mean, and we talk about it, but you have to go back with Bill Bergen. With that final one, man. It's just I can't not put him on that list.
But who was the first one?
It was Seth, then Jeremiah.
Oh, Seth Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then Jeremiah Trotter.
Yeah. And like I said, that last one was hard because I love Byron Evans. I got mad love for Bill Romanowski, even though he's probably one of the dirtiest motherfuckers ever played this game. Listen, man. And another guy I love from that team was Kirk Govea. He's another one that doesn't get any love. He was just system guy. Makes tackles, played in the middle, was bust things up, man.
Your big 3 at cornerback.
Man, Eric Allen, Sheldon Brown.
Ooh, nice.
Listen, he was so underrated, and listen, he was a hitter.
Yeah.
Listen, his hit on Reggie Bush should be played at the beginning of every Eagles game.
It still get played, yes, for sure.
And though I don't care for him as a person because I think he's a piece of crap at what he does to some of the people on social media, but another one who doesn't get the love he deserves or the respect as he does as a McMillan or our Mighty Mouse here in Philadelphia, is one of the things he was the Philly guy through and through, the ultimate underachiever, was arguably the smallest cornerback in the league, making the biggest plays here in the city. Doesn't get the love he deserves, should be on this list.
All right, and then safeties.
Man, come on. How many am I getting here? Now, I did forget one. Troy Vincent should be there, but like I said, I had to give Mighty Mouse the love because he never gets the love, man.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I had to throw Troy in there. I almost forgot about him for a second.
Let's go 3 safeties.
That even makes it even quicker then, because I know exactly what it is. It's Brian Dawkins, it's Andre Waters, and obviously
Waters, another one, man. We've been sleeping on Waters too on the list. Man, Waters was
Andre
good.
Waters was an absolute animal.
Beast.
Was
Yes.
an absolute animal. And it's a sad thing that what happened to him. Like another guy from that team. A lot of people talk about is Isel Jenkins. It was another absolute monster back there. I mean, and we've been through some characters that some bad times at safety. The Rodney Hoods of the
Oh
world
yeah.
and stuff like that. Man, like we went through some stuff back there at safety, but here
So
comes the hard one, the special teamers.
yes.
Now
Kickers.
where do you sit on this? Are you the one that feels that David Akers should get the nod no matter what, or Tony Franklin should be on this list?
Akers, man. To be honest, this is the first time we're going to special teams, so I like it. Akers.
Yeah, but also we have some we've got some old school guys on there because Morton Anderson was also a kicker for us for some period
Oh
of time. People
yeah.
tend to forget he played for us for a few years.
Yes, he did.
We had Jeff Fiegels who did both for a period of time.
The Eagles was on that team.
So
Yeah.
like you have a certain ways that you have to kind of think about that. So yeah, but David Akers should probably be your special teams kicker / punter. You should always mention.
The punter would be that guy we just let go.
Yeah, but no, it's Sean Landetta, man.
Lindetta. Yeah.
Yeah, like dude, he was a part of this team during a special time, and he was on the other side of some uneventful memories for us as well. So he has to get mentioned in that one. Kick and punt returner is probably the other one you kind of ask yourself if you want to kind of go over.
D-Jax.
D-Jax, yeah, but that's Brian Westbrook all day long, man.
Both of them. They both got a America medal in.
Yeah, but Brian Westbrook is what the kick return is what made him get noticed and made him a staple on this team.
Yeah, that is
People
true.
tend to forget that the special teams is the reason why he was found about this team.
That is true. Yep, that is true. Now I'll
like if it wasn't for the miracle and the Meadowlands, whatever part you want to do with 2, 3, whatever. I don't know how you want to call it at this point in time.
Right, we got so many.
We've broken the Giants' heart so many times in special
Giants.
teams play. It should be ridiculous at this point in time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think Brian Westbrook should be the one, man. As much as you got to remember, the Deshaun Jackson thing was special, but I still like the first one.
Westbrook did it more consistently. Jackson wasn't always back there. Yeah, Birdman. Well, hey, man, that is a great list for sure. I think that team's winning a lot of games, baby. A lot of games, man. If we put them up against some of the best of other teams, man, yeah. It's
just some of our all-time greats. I don't know if we're doing that with other teams, how many wins that team makes. I'm sure it'll be a fun team to watch, a fun team to follow. That's for sure.
All right. Well, thanks again, everybody in the chat. Please hit that like, subscribe to his channel, A2D Steven. He is definitely on the air. What'd you say the show was on Saturday?
Yeah, it's I'm on Saturday nights here. It's called the Weekly Roundup.
The Weekly Roundup. So check it out, everybody. He does got a YouTube page. Check it out. Some great content on there.
Just type in A2D. We're right there. You ain't gonna miss us.
All right. And thanks again, my guy, for the show. It was an awesome show as always. And I'm definitely want to work some more with you sometime once the season gets started. So,
Sounds good.
Hey, see you guys later. Like I always say, fly, Eagles, fly, and Bird Gang Nation, we out.